Hi, first graders. This week we're going to continue to think about adding 10 and subtracting 10 in a snap. So on Tuesday, you did your 100 chart puzzle, and we really tried to look at the patterns that we could see as we added 10 and subtracted 10. Remember, our ones place, like the 6 right here, stayed the same. But our tens place is what increased by 1 each time. So if you know how to do this in a snap already, then just try to do it without a tool. But if it's still feeling a little tricky, I'm going to show you some tools that you can use to help yourself learn how to do it quickly. So the first thing I want to do is I want to just warm my brain up, and I'm going to count by tens. You count with me? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now, I'm going to use that to help me add 10. So right now I'm looking at this example, and they've already given us the answer, but I think it's good to really look at the example and understand why or how they got to 36. So if I'm thinking 26 plus 10, I can think about what comes after 20 when I'm counting by tens. 30. Now I have 6 ones, so I need to make sure that I have those 6 ones in my number. So 26, 36. Let's try 23. It's going to be really similar to what we just did. 23 plus 10. I can think 20 plus 10 is the same as 30. So 23 plus 10 is the same as 33. See how our ones place is staying the same? 21 plus 10. What do you think that is? Yeah, 31. Now, if I'm looking over here, it's now having you almost subtract 10. So it's telling you the end number is 24. So if they were at 24, what did they start with before they added 10? So 24 minus 10, and if I'm thinking 20 minus 10 is the same as 10, and I'm making sure my 4 ones are there, then the answer is 14. This time, I can check my work. Yep, my ones are the same. And my 10 went up by 1 or went down by 1. 14. Now this one's a little bit tricky because when you have 1 10 and 4 ones, and then all of a sudden you erase or subtract that 10, you're only left with 4 ones. So your number becomes 4. So first graders, as you're going through these, take your time, check your work, look for those patterns to make sure that you're getting to the correct answer. And that's how you do the first part. The second part is similar, except it's subtracting. Now, this side is going to get smaller because I'm subtracting 10. I've rewritten my tool over here of my counting by tens because I can still use that when I'm subtracting. So right up here they have 16 minus 10, and they say that's the same as 6. Let's check. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then I'm going to erase a 10. And yeah, I'm left with just 6 ones. 23 minus 10. Well, 20 minus 10, that's the 10 that comes right before that, is 10. So keeping my ones, that's going to be 3. And making sure I go down 110, or I subtract 110, then I have 13. So maybe you want to draw it. Maybe you want to use the number line as a tool. Now we're going to think about what did they subtract from to get to that number. So before, when we saw this, we were subtracting. Now it's almost like we're adding. So 24, what's 10 more than 24? If I had 10, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then I add a 10, all of a sudden I have 34. So I know that 34 minus 10 is the same as 24. I can go over here too and look. 20, 30. So be careful about what they're asking you. It's almost a little bit tricky when you come over to this side. It makes me think about our penguin problems when we were separating the penguins, and sometimes we had subtraction problems that really benefited from using addition. So if I was to write this in an equation, it would look like this. Blank minus 10 is the same as 24. Do you remember when we saw problems like that? And then we knew, ooh, we should really be adding that 10 to 24 to see what that missing number is. So first graders, I hope this helped you with your worksheet and really practicing how to add and subtract 10 in a snap. You can also practice just counting on. So we started counting from 0 to 10, but you could start with just the number 6 and say, okay, 6, 16, 26, 36, 46, 56, 66, and continue on that way, because that's a good way to really warm up your brain to adding 10 in a snap. All right, I'll see you next week.